Hello and welcome to Unity for Gaia with Melly and Ivan. Our channel is dedicated to awakening, healing, and reclaiming your sovereignty. Today we're touching on a few topics that are very near and dear to our hearts. And that is maintaining your energetic field and how that coincides with clearing your physical body and your energetic body and how it all comes together. Because as I'm sure if you found this channel in the first place and you're watching anything on these topics, you know that there's a lot of snarfy, weird energies around, and you hear people talk about holding their field and all kinds of stuff, and so we try to keep it lighthearted, yet a little serious, informative, and fun. And so without further ado, Ivan.
Oh,
It's
that's
to you.
Me. Hi. Hello. Welcome. Is it who's welcome? I'm welcome. We're welcome. Anyways, don't mind the silliness. It's just part of the party. There's a lot of stuff that is very important and very serious, but you gotta take it with a grain of salt. Don't be too serious. Just have fun with it. As far as holding your field, some people are aware what fields are. Some people are not aware what fields are. For me, it's taken me a while to figure out what my field is, which I describe more of my way of feeling my way through things. But the more I have gone through my own process, I've learned and realized how energies interact with my field. How does my body literally react and tell me, hey, there's something there, there's something off, or wow, there's something exciting over there. What's going on over there? Whether you're out in nature, whether it's an interaction with someone that's telling you something, and they're talking to you this way, and they put on this beautiful facade, and unfortunately it's a facade, but behind those words you can feel that energy of that person's field interacting with your field. You can view it as one bubble and another bubble come together, and you're intermeshed. And that is if you want to view it from that perspective, the bridge from one field to another, or from one person's interaction to another person's interaction. And a lot of things can be said by just observing how your body reacts. As an instance, we just happened to go on a little nature walk. And I'm thinking, wow, this is so exciting. I'm getting out in nature. It's going to be fun. I love the elementals, the fairies, the divas, all that beautiful realms, if you're aware of those, as smoke comes this way. But I've noticed that as I was excited, I went from, wow, this is cool, to what's going on here? I wasn't even thinking of anything. My body literally reacted to something from the energy from that location. Again, welcome to learning your field. I'm still learning more and more, but it's a work in progress. But what else do you have on that?
Well, something we were talking about before we came on, which is feeling what thoughts are coming to you and where they're coming from, such as little thought forms that come in that give you negative thoughts about somebody that you're in a relationship with, a friend, a family member, somebody you love, and really try to interject into you to kind of make you almost want to start an argument or go on the defensive with the other person, and to really stop and feel into your heart and think to yourself, is this something that I would actually say? Is this how I actually feel about this person? And also, is it coming from a wounded place within you, something you haven't healed yet? Because sometimes these things just show up and they're little windows into places that we haven't done our healing work,
right,
or something like that as well. When Ivan talks about his field, when we first met, I would always be saying, oh, this is in, your field and his field and her field and whatever's in the field. And he's like, is this a field with like butterflies and daisies? Like, what's the field? What are you talking about? Right?
Right.
And so what I'm talking about is What we're talking about is your energetic field, which is, you can call it your aura, your toroidal field, if you're a little bit more into the energetic mechanics of what your energy and you are emanating and giving off, but that field of energy around you. If you're doing any type of healing, clearing, meditation, any of these processes, lots of times you learn about your heart field, coming into your heart and how that heart field goes out like 9 feet around you, and you really want to expand it and create this nice bubble of, clearing, healing, good heart-based love, energy, and frequency around you. And so when you do that every day as part of your practice and you start to learn how that feels, you also start to realize when things come and they kind of bump into your field, right? That are like, okay, well, I'm over here maintaining my space of love. I'm working on my healing journey and doing all these things. Where did this snarky, weird thought come from all of a sudden that is not anything I was thinking about, has nothing to do with, anything in the frequency that I'm working on holding with my person, my partner, my friends, right, my whatever, at work, whatever you're doing, working with clients. So just that feeling, those things that really bump into you. And the other component of that is not only doing your healing and clearing work energetically, but also physically. So you hear a lot of people in the community talk about whether it's, your diet, eating vegan, vegetarian, detoxing, whatever, the frequency of your food, blah, 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 and diet becomes a really sensitive issue for a lot of people. We have a lot of emotions and a lot of different things that are attached to diet and what we put in our body. But whatever you're building your cellular structure with, because your cells are always renewing, that's the frequency you're rebuilding with, right? Mm-hmm. And what you are able to kind of hold in your energetic field and in your physical body when the two of those integrate together.
So how do you hold the frequency? Is that something you're thinking consciously, or is it something that happens automatically? There's a question.
That is a good question. It's always a work in progress, isn't it? You really have to kind of think about it and work on it every day.
Right.
Both your body and spirit and mind.
Right.
All three of those together.
So as far as holding your field, and a lot of people think holding, okay, I gotta grab something or hold it for dear life. That's not necessarily the case with holding. Is literally, what are you feeding your body? Your body is a container. It contains all this beautiful, whether you want to view it from the perspective of your spirit is inside of you, your spirit is outside of you, however you want to view it. It's holding energy. Holding this whole system. Mm-hmm. So when we're expressing holding your field, what vibration is your body at? And that has to do a lot with how much healing you have done. Have you meditated or felt into certain scenarios that have been maybe a certain thought form of, in my childhood this, or a friend did this to me, or you feel wrong and whatever? Have you actually looked that direction and given it the attention that it needs, and view it from a very neutral perspective and not emotionally charged, even though that can be challenging, especially if it's something that you have felt was very emotionally scarring. But let's remember that scars do heal, and even the scar eventually, whatever scab is on top of that scar eventually falls off, and then you have beautiful radiant skin underneath that scar. But
good analogy.
I work hard at it. Not really, but it comes. But just giving those things that come up for you the attention, and just view it from a very neutral perspective and feel your way through it. What is it there that's causing that discomfort? And addressing it within yourself. Is it heartbreaking? Is it sometimes a little bit traumatic, and the waterworks have to flow? Let them flow. How do you think people, how do you think that you heal? Acknowledging those emotions. And you can view something from a neutral perspective and still have waterworks. works, because you are feeling that feeling of that which you're addressing. And it's not one of those, well, I'm just going to give it love and blah, blah, which that's great. It's part of the process, but also acknowledge those feelings of that experience and then let it go. Whether that's your form of letting it go is asking for assistance from your guides, from source, from just yourself, or doing whatever you feel like doing that allows you to release that back into the ethers, and just leaving that in the most neutral manner, and then allowing that to go from you. And if you want to say, hey, I send it straight up to source, or one of your guides, or whoever you feel the most comfortable to assist you, then do that. I think that's all I got about that one.
All the healing and the clearing work, the reason we are really addressing this and talking about it right now, it's been something we've been just talking about and so much recently with the way the energy and the shifts and the things that are happening and the way the world is right now with so much weird stuff coming at you. If you are just waking up, and even if you've been on this path for a while, one of the things you really hear everybody talk about is being empathic, being a feeler, being more sensitive. And so really figuring out, again, what is yours and what's the collective, because a lot of us are tapping into the collective conscious. So you're feeling that as well, which is another reason why really being able to hold your field is important. Now, that being said, that doesn't mean that you are not going to sense everything that's making contact with your field.
Right.
Because a good example is we went downtown last Saturday night.
That was fun.
No, that was 2 weeks ago, Saturday. Sorry. I don't know, time is nowadays. Yeah. A couple weekends ago, we went downtown in the evening for dinner, like 8 o'clock at night. And it's a place that we've gone during the day for lunchtime during the week. And we are not go out downtown at night kind of people anyways. But I just moved here recently, and Ivan has lived here for several years.
Right.
But anyways, we went downtown, and I was like, what in the heck is this? Like, it gets dark, the energy shifts, everything, and it was really heavy, dense energy. And while it wasn't affecting me in like a laying me out type of way, I was really sensing and picking up and seeing a lot of things going on that were, I guess you would say, uncomfortable, right? And they're not yours, but they come at you. And so we ate, and then we walked around. And the more we were down there, because it's nice out, we're in the South, so there's a lot of people walking around, bars and partying and bar hopping and all of those energies. And there's just a lot of, I was feeling it here, right? Like the pressure in my third eye. I was feeling it here in my stomach and my solar plexus, just things kind of like knocking on your field, like trying to get in. So it was very much like, you're just like pushing the energy away as you're walking around. And I'm commenting on this, and now, because Ivan's become more sensitive, why don't you go ahead and tell them how it was for you?
So she is able to sense the energy of the location. And I'm out there, and the only thing I say, well, I'm glad you can feel it, because I'm not feeling anything. To me, it feels normal. I don't feel anything. I did notice, because I am becoming more and more sensitive, when people are walking around with their drink of choice and they're bar hopping, as people walk by me, where before I would be very oblivious to it, there would be 2 or 3 people or one person walk by, and if their energetic field, if their energy was that dense, I would automatically turn and just make a comment like, okay, that person's got a lot of freaking dense energy. I can feel it. It feels like pressure against my physical body. And as soon as they come close to me, it feels a lot of pressure against my physical body. As they walk away, the pressure dissipates and goes away. And I'm like, well, this is interesting because I feel it all around me. This is what we mean about your energy field and how it interacts with other people. As the day progressed or night progressed, number one, if I'm out and people are, having fun and what have you in that type of environment, I tend to be a little bit more vigilant than I typically would, just because some people are not in their right faculties. Let's just be honest. And interestingly, the drinks or one of the locations was selling spirits. What do some of the not so nice spirits, just like not so nice people, do? Take advantage of other people. So if you're in energy form as a spirit and someone's drinking spirits, you're literally inviting those energies to come into your body and take over your body and take it out for a test drive and run and rag it. And because it's not their vehicle, they're going to rag it the heck out. And then all of a sudden their drama breaks out and can't believe so-and-so did this to me, and so-and-so was behaving differently and their personality shifted and it didn't seem like it was them. Of course not, because you literally allowed a spirit, by drinking spirits, to take over your vehicle. Congratulations. But as we continue to walk into more towards the riverside, just because to me it typically has a very light energy, very nice vibration. It's just a very soothing. Anything with water to me is very soothing. We go next to the bars, and where she's like, oh, my solar plexus, oh, my third eye, I'm not picking up until we literally go through the whole bar scene. All of a sudden, my forehead, I start feeling the pressure, like someone's pushing against it heavily. And then my stomach starts to churn. Solar plexus, hello. And then I'm feeling the same thing Melissa is telling me. I'm like, okay, I don't know what, and it literally felt like you're walking through sludge. Mm-hmm. If you've ever been in a pool, how you walk through water is very malleable, you flow and it's nice. It literally felt like my whole physical body was walking through sludge. That's the best way that I can describe it. And as soon as we pass the bars and continue to walk away, the more that feeling physically started dissipating more and more, as if layers upon layers, just like an onion, being peeled back off the skin of all my body. And I'm like, okay, this is disgusting. Who in the heck wants to be living or interacting in this type of environment? I understand a lot of people, hey, that's your form of entertainment, that's your form of relaxing, whatever, no judgment. This is just my experience, our experience of how we as empathic people, and as myself that am becoming more and more sensitive based on lifestyle changes, I'm relearning, thank you, to navigate life, because now I'm starting to feel more. I'm not currently feeling like some other people that feel other people's emotions, but I can feel the difference between someone that's, the best way I could describe it, someone who is sad or mad typically feels heavier. And someone who's happier, that's why the saying goes, lighten up, cheer up, smile, hee hee ha ha, all that stuff. The fairies are a perfect example. Hi, how's it going? Hello, hi, hey. Slow down, making me get dizzy with all that. But anyways, just as an example, just saying. So yeah, this is becoming more and more aware of your energy, of your field. And how interesting that the word field and feel sound very similar. You feel through your field. Sounds like a Dr. Seuss rhyme or something. I don't know. Just saying.
Well, you touched on something good there that leads into the clearing and the feeling of your physical body.
Right.
And alcohol and just the substances and the things we put in our body, you know, I've been here enough years. I'm not going to say like, I have always been this perfect, you know, I've never had a drink. I've never done anything. Like I haven't smoked.
That's a lie.
That's a lie. That's a lie. But I do not do those things any longer. And it's been several years. And there is, you know, the lowering of your frequency that happens with those things. And if you can energetically see people's fields, there's like a grayness sometimes, kind of just a fog in people's fields, depending on what they're doing, what substances they're using. And lots of times, it's kind of like Swiss cheese.
Their field.
Depending on how bad it is.
Their
Yeah.
field,
Like what is actually going on there that they're allowing in because of the frequency they're holding. So they're ingesting these things through their physical body, right? But it's showing in their energetic field, which ties in why it's important to keep both of them clear and put those things together. So if you've started to have an awakening and, you know, your diet needs maybe to be cleaned up or changed, and, you know, you have, you know, chemical substances of some sort, alcohol, whatever you're putting in your body,
Smoke, vape.
that, you know, the two things have a symbiotic relationship. So you could be meditating and doing a lot of really good practices for yourself energetically, but you still have these other things where you're trying to anchor this higher frequency into your physical body, and where you're ingesting substances that are lowering the vibration of your physical body. And that's where a lot of the problems come in. And that's where a lot of problems with ascension symptoms come in.
Ooh, good point.
That's a really, you know, because I know people that they're really tuning in and opening up and things like that, but they're still eating a lot of, you know, fast food, or they really haven't cleansed and been eating clean, organic, GMO food.
Non-GMO, no GMOs.
So, you know, all these different things, and they struggle. They feel crappy a lot because they're bringing in these higher frequencies. They're trying to anchor them. They want to anchor in, you know, all this information, light information, and their physical body is really struggling with that because they're like frying their circuits. Literally, they're tired. They don't feel well. They have what we call ascension symptoms. You know, they get on different type of webinars that people host with light language and sound healing and different things, and then they're like purging physically. You know, and that's because you got to make room for the gunk. Just like the emotional clearing, like, you know, Ivan was talking about earlier with the crying and letting it flow. Well, if you have an emotional response, if you are healing something that is in the emotional body, that is in your physical body is crying, there you go. There's the relationship that proves to you that they are both a marriage. Like they need to work together. You're expressing and clearing it through your physical body.
Right.
So a lot of, you know, hey, you can have beers all weekend. That's like, we're not telling you what to do as far as that goes. That's up to you.
Right. It's a choice.
But, you know, when we met, we were in different places with how our diet was and what we ate. And not that Ivan was partying like a rock star all weekend.
Yeah.
He might have been partying with the gummy bears because he likes those a lot.
Listen, that's part of my freaking high frequency. What? Those are my recovery tools when channeling or moving energy.
But we've talked about that recently, and just how, you know, that's changed. And so what do you find from, like, how has your diet changed over the last several months? And what do you find?
This is a good one. A lot of people are constantly complaining, and I happen to be one of them. I'll own it. Anyways, about, oh, I need to drop weight. 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 Okay, well, we already know that in a lot of people, it may be challenging for them to give up a certain diet, whether it's eating meats or the sweets or the beer or the wine or whatever. It doesn't matter. And you could say, okay, well, all this was placed here on this planet for me to enjoy. Sure, they're choices. You're going to enjoy it, but how does your body feel afterwards? For me, I started becoming more plant-based, and that's pretty much even my attitude right now. More plant-based. I still leave the door open if I want to have meats, but I am more plant-based as far as my food intake.
Don't let him fool you. It's been months since he's had meat, so we're just gonna put that out there.
Dirty? Is this air out the dirty laundry? Seriously? Are we going there?
It was like March or something.
Whatever. But still,
we are now in October.
time does fly. Holy cow. Anyways, before getting sidetracked by my sidekick, thanks, love. No, a lot of that, I've learned that you can change your diet and you can become vegetarian, vegan, and that's great. If you can do the vegan part, the vegetarian, more power to you. I will say this from my own personal experience, eating more plant-based, more vegetarian, I do have much more energy. That's one aspect of it. The other aspect that I did not even consider was taking supplements. I've always taken some sort of supplement, whether it was something to help me work out or pre-workout, and I've tried some of the craziest stuff that you probably shouldn't put in your body. Just by the way, it makes your body go, eh. Anyways, but you're making me laugh. When I decided to start looking up the one of the videos of, I can't remember who I was watching, of all these supplements that are to detoxify, and by detoxify I mean remove metals from your diet, because a lot of the genetically modified foods, a lot of the chemicals, a lot of this, that, and the other has some sort of metal component to it. So I started to take, my diet did not really change. Oh yes it did, don't be a liar, Ivan. Is whenever I decided to pursue someone, she cannot eat GMOs or GMOs for some of you people that don't know what a GMO is. Anyways, just because a lot of people, it has an allergic reaction or
you mean gluten?
Both. GMOs, gluten-free, whatever. I don't know. One of the G words that she's aware of.
Gluten.
Okay.
It's gluten. I've been eating gluten-free for over a decade.
I'm sorry I don't know the acronyms of what all this terminology is, miss.
That's okay.
I've been in the health industry for 20 years and then some. I'm just a naive little boy stumbling my way through stuff and just, oh, he fell on his face again. Get up, boy. Anyways, but I started taking supplements to get a lot of the metals out. And interestingly enough, even though I've been with my beloved for many moons now, just that, not necessarily doing any drastic changes from what I was already consuming, being with Melissa, but just taking those supplements to detoxify, I started noticing that my body was shifting and changing, and started dropping weight. Like, well, this is interesting because I'm not on a diet. I haven't done anything different from what I typically consume, which is already plant-based to begin with. And I thought I was eating cleaner. Number one, I started eating with no GMOs. And secondly, started taking the supplements to remove all the metals, toxins, and all that from my body. And then I started putting two and two together. I'm like, that makes four. A lot of the metals in the body tend, from what I've observed from my body transformation, are attached to a lot of the fatty tissue. And interestingly enough, I'm taking all these supplements to remove all the metals out of my body, and the fatty tissue starts getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. I'm like, well, this is interesting. Maybe they should start advertising, if you want to get slimmer, take all these freaking supplements that remove metals from your body, and that's one way to freaking slimline your waistline. I'm just saying, my waistline has gotten slimmer. A lot.
You know, in regards to that and things you can take to just detox and stuff, there's so much out there. You can Google metal detox and you can find tons of ways to do it, different things to take. There's even, you know, green juices. There's simple things like when I did a detox for a month straight at one time several years ago for heavy metals. I was doing a juice that I was using my juicer and putting like a big bundle of cilantro in every day with, my celery and my other greens, because cilantro pulls it out. So there's just all kinds of ways that you can do it. He's been using zeolite right now with some other, what do you have, spirulina and zeolite
and chlorella.
Chlorella, which are
another
really
one.
good for you. So it just depends. And sometimes, different things work different depending on your biochemistry that will feel good, different, for your body. So sometimes you do have to, play around with it a little bit. One of the most gentle and easy ways to do it is, making yourself like a raw juice or a smoothie every day with the powders or the ingredients in it, and having that and, lots of water along with it, like purified water, right, to flush you out.
Preferably alkaline water or mineralized water. Sorry, the Spanish and English just went bloop.
Yes, that's an important point. If you have purified water, you can buy trace mineral drops. You want to be adding the minerals back to the water because the minerals are all taken out. You still want those minerals. You just don't want, the fluoride, the chlorine, and all the funk that's floating around, right?
Yeah.
But stripping that out strips the minerals out. So you do want to add the minerals back in, and you can get liquid trace minerals. Like we get our big 5-gallon, we fill it up, and then we come home and squirt the,
Minerals.
trace minerals in. So, anything else you would like to add about that?
Oh yes, actually, along with a losing of the weight and removal of the metals, your intuition all of a sudden becomes much more acute and online, if you want to call it.
Your sensitivity?
Yeah, my sensitivity, because that's been my process of why I have been becoming more and more sensitive. Even this morning when I was staring at my partner in light over here, I was actually looking at her and seeing her, what she typically sees, I guess. It's the energy body. It's about an inch.
The etheric body?
The etheric body.
Yeah, when you start to see auras and energy, you usually
Right.
see that around people.
So it was my first time about myself actually being able to perceive that, which I have not had that come forward yet. But today, as I relaxed my vision, and we were having a conversation, then I was seeing certain colors above her head. I'm like, wow, that's interesting. So this is what you see, since she's able to, like many people, see auras on people or energy, one and same. So it's been quite fascinating just seeing this process, progression, and the more, as I have learned, the more you detoxify your body, the more you're going to be able to perceive more things. By more things, I'm talking about energy. I'm talking about spirits, if that's a thing, entities, light beings, whatever. It's just part of the process of remembering who we are as divine human beings, as divine beings in this physical manifestation. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, speaking to that point, a lot of people talk about the light body. Well, how do you activate more of the light body, get more of the metals out? Just saying. You're not going to turn the light on when you have if you're an electrical person, you get this. You're not going to have power on when the power source gets shorted to ground. You need the full circuitry to be clean and clear, and not the power being diverted elsewhere. And what does metal in your body do? It affects your electrical system that allows me to do this with my fingers and control this mouth. Because our body is, 70%, 80% liquid, and it runs off of an electrical circuitry that controls every sensation that we feel via the nerves that gets registered up here in our lovely gray matter. Does it matter? It matters a lot.
I feel like I should put on my glasses for that. I feel studious all of a sudden. It's very scientific, Professor Ivan.
Professor? Really? Yeah, Professor. Let me call my beloved fairy to take over. And well, listen, guys. Here, this is what's gonna happen from now on. This is how we look into your soul, and this is how we look at you. Wow. That one's a colorful one. That one's a dim one. That one's a colorful one. Why is that one dim? Oh, it's got too much metal in his body. Someone send him a memo. The dove with a little message. Yeah. Messenger bird. Done.
This is what it's like in our house.
Yeah.
So, one of the last things that I think we would like to touch on is having a practice to clear your field every day, all the time. And it can be, over the years, I've heard so many different versions of it. It can be everything from, okay, I'll give you an example. For 20 plus years, I worked in the fitness industry and I did Pilates instruction and personal training. So I did a lot of one-on-one and small group sessions with people. And 15 plus years ago, 20 years ago now, gosh, it's been a long time, I realized that people's energy, like I was feeling drained, I was feeling everything coming off of them, and I could really, and then I started this practice of when I would go to work, I would surround myself in just white light, and then I would surround myself in mirrors, and it would reflect back everything to everybody that they were sending towards me. And I would hold this around myself, visualize it and hold it around myself every day. And once I started doing that, I realized that I wasn't feeling drained. I wasn't feeling everybody's like, people come in, they're all from work and the kids and and they bring it with them, right? People don't mean to, they don't understand, but they just like bring it with them. It's like they drag the trunk of crap in with them and you're there in their personal space. And so then they want to unload the trunk of crap and maybe leave it with you so that they don't have to take it back with them and they feel better. And it's like, I love you and I want to help you, but that trunk of crap you brought in, you got to take it back with you when you leave and sort it out. You don't get to leave your dirty shoes and that old handbag and the stained up dress or whatever here. Like that's not happening. You don't get to be that person. You got to take all that crap back with you. We're here to work on what we're here to work on. So, even back then, I just learned that practice of like people's stuff has to stay theirs, right? And just feeling what was going on to work with people around me, or I would not have been able to do that 6 days a week for years on end. That was my literal full-time job. Right. And so now, there's so many tools out there and things people talk about, ways to clear. You can call in, pure source energy, open your crown, bring it into your heart, expand it out around you, surround yourself in white, gold, and light. Press all these snarfy energies down and ground into Gaia and ask her to take them. Put your feet on the earth to cleanse. Things like sage and clearing your space is really good. We sage and Palo Santo, and we got frankincense and myrrh incense and sound bowls, and we dance a jig with funny hats on or whatever it is, right? To raise the frequency. Yes, I do. I dance in bunny slippers too because I love my bunny slippers. But whatever it is that keeps your space clear and keeps your field clear, and practicing that all the time. Because as you do more clearing and you feel how good that energy feels when it's clear, it makes it easier to figure out when something's not yours.
Bingo.
And when it's coming in and there's an access point, where is it? How did it get in? What do I have running here that isn't healed that allowed that access to me? So that's a really good one. It's just a reminder to heal and clear. So
speaking about access points, as you were talking about being in the physical fitness industry and all that, access point is when you actually, one thing is when you engage in conversation, you get engaged in the conversation, or carry, what's it, carry but not carry, something like that.
Yeah.
I was remembering access points when you allow someone to, they're going to tell you their stuff, blah, blah, and they want to vent to you. And then you go and you engage in like, man, that is messed up. I can't believe this person this, or I can't believe that. The moment you acknowledge and you give an emotional charge to what they're going through, You just create an access point for them to your energy, and now they're siphoning your energy because you chose to engage in their storyline, in their experience. But what was I saying? Engage in the conversation, but do not get engaged. There's a difference. You can be engaged. You can engage a conversation and observe from a very neutral, or even you may empathize and say, well, man, yeah, that could have been handled a little bit better or whatever. But you're not making their storyline yours. You're literally acknowledging.
You're not taking it on.
Exactly. And this is, okay, well, I hear you. I'm not going to be disrespectful and say I don't. But at the same time, I acknowledge, that situation could have been much better, or, I'm sorry that happened to you, but okay, well, let's move forward with what we're here to do. Leave that at the door. Don't bring the drama in. I know there's baggage. That baggage can stay at the door. And whenever you walk out, because that is part of an experience that you're going through, then you can address it once we're done here. But that is your stuff. That is not my stuff. We as individuals, as human beings, we have enough of our own personal stuff that we're trying to figure out, especially if you've embarked on this remembrance process of who you truly are, as a divine being, as however you want to view it, as a spark of God, source, whatever. I prefer source personally. As a light being, a beautiful divine being of pure light that has come here to go through these experiences to better empathize and assist. If you've gotten to that stage of figuring out how you're going to assist, congratulations. If you haven't, that's fine. This is not a race. Take your time, figure you out first. And once you fully figure yourself out and heal all the stuff there, and it's going to be coming up over and over because you continue to grow. You have a bigger awareness, a vaster awareness as you go through certain experiences. Then that stuff that you might have thought, okay, I already healed, comes back around too, because there's something there additionally to heal. And this is what some people may say, oh, you carry a lot of baggage, a lot of luggage. Well, that's the baggage. Let go of that baggage and allow yourself to be lighter. And allowing yourself to be lighter, you're holding a higher frequency, and you're vibrating at a higher frequency. Same reality, higher frequency. And you're anchoring that higher frequency because you are being that anchor point that can hold that energy that in turn affects your environment around you. And you're actually helping humanity in that manner also. So just food for thought.
Nicely said.
No, thank you. I learned how to speak English.
And how do we help people do that? Well, we help people do that.
Anyways.
With BQH sessions. Yes. So, I think we've hit on what we wanted to talk about today.
Yeah.
We've covered the topic well.
Right.
If you would like to reach out to us for a session and more information, you can email us at Unity for Gaia, which is Unity with a 4, Gaia, right? At gmail.com. Thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you next time.
It's been fun. So,
sending lots of love your way. Have a wonderful day. Bye.